new definition of auteur when you talk about what it's like to work with Billy, because he not only is the writer, director, producer, but he also is the DP, the director of photography, and he's actually creating the sets behind us technologically as we're acting in front of the camera. So speaking to him is like speaking to the good side of somebody as big in personality as Jabba the Hutt is physically.
Billy, as a director, lets us move as actors when and where we want to. You know, it's not so rigid, because normally you have marks on the floor and you gotta hit them at an exact point, and it's nice to kind of just be free with it.
You know, working with green screen is really cool. I didn't necessarily like it before, but I really like it now. It's sort of like working with an open palette that is available for anything. You can be like a 5-year-old kid in a room that can be, it's at your disposal to be whatever you want it to be. And as an actor, that's really fun, so nothing's necessarily set in stone, and it can be, you know, it's just you and the other actor, and all of this stuff can be occurring, and you forget almost that all of it is around you, and it just becomes you and the other actor, and it really gives you the ability to hook up and connect to the person that's in front of you.
You know, I think everybody goes, ooh, booga booga boo, you know, green screen, you know, and I kind of thought, you know, I walked up here before they began shooting the Sunday before Monday, and, you know, the floor was painted green. There was this big, you know, piece of fabric behind, you know, probably 70 or 80 feet long and 30 feet high, and that was it, and I kind of go, okay, here we go. But you know what? It's really about, you know, the relationship between, I mean, sometimes you have to refer to something that's not there because there's nothing there. But acting is acting. I mean, there's characters, there's people. No big deal. I mean, I like it. You know, it's kind of, at least, you know, you can control the environment somewhat, so you're not, and you just focus on really what the nuts and bolts is acting, not the plane that's flying overhead, or, you know, something that's distracting, or, I mean, it's fine. Yeah.
The amazing thing about green screen, well, it's sort of a double-edged sword in that you can do a lot in a little time, but the downside is that you can do a lot in a little time.
It was kind of intense because I'd never done all this green screen work before, and it's quite strange because you have to imagine, you know, and Billy comes in and says, there's this huge void here and there's these huge buildings here, and react to it, and you're on an elevator and all this stuff, and we're not moving and there's nothing to look at. So I think that's a challenge, but actually what's funny is the more I've done it on this, I've actually really come to enjoy it because there's no distractions, you know what I mean? And the setup time is really fast because you don't have to move everything, you just move your table, and it looks like a, you know, totally different part of the room.
Green screen technology, things move a lot faster. So in a scene like this where I'm talking to you, if we were then to turn the camera around and film you, we would have to relight everything, bring the camera over here and set it up this way and redo everything. In green screen, we simply replace me with you and change this background to that background, and we're ready to roll. When they do the reverses, right?
Yeah.
You stand here, right?
Right.
And the next time we do the reverse on me, I stand there, because all they have to do is change the background digitally.
That's right.
So half
Perfect.
the time in lighting.
Oh yeah,
Half
no,
the
Did you
it's a
tell them
lot
that?
simpler.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's what they do. They did it. They're doing it.
Oh, nice.
That's all they do. They just change the background digitally.
They just turn you around.
Yes, you don't. That's not that big roundy everybody has to do.
Good, good.
So time constraints are affected beneficially to production.
Green has a very calming, artistic effect on me. Do you realize we're on horses and we're going across rivers in this scene while we're talking? I know you don't know it now, but you'll see.
It's an interesting thing to work in this kind of process, green screen, because it means that a corridor which might extend for 50 or 60 feet in an actual set can now extend for 3 or 4 miles behind you and for 2 or 3 miles above and around you. And those corridors or halls or suspended places that we play these scenes in are as wide and broad and deep as the imagination, and that imagination is his.
You notice all this green screen?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
This is Oz. We're in Oz.
As an actor, you have to, of course, apply a completely new set of rules and a new set of standards. Billy is excellent at telling you what parts of the set to refer to make a connection with the story points that have to be told. And then you yourself have to supply the imagination based on what his descriptions are, and also some of the stuff that you've seen him create already, to kind of imagine the scope and size and intensity of where it is that he's going to be placing you while you're doing the acting. It's a little bit like acting in outer space, and any world that can be created around you will be created around you.
The uniqueness of the technique, but it was a way that we thought we could add a lot of production value, broaden the scope of the visual elements of the story, you know, in a way that people haven't been able to do. So we're trying to stretch the limits as much as possible with the technique. The performances started to really anchor the story. You know, the actors actually were able to kind of engage in each other more than kind of using the actual environment.
It's like pretending and pretending and pretending in a kind of a geometric progression. It's kind of fun.
Also, one of the things I really love about this project and always have liked about it is that it's so sci-fi and so technical and so, you know, futuristic and crazy. And our dialogue so much of the time is about story and plot and what's going on. But it's actually also, I feel, very actor-driven when we film it. You know, like Billy actually cares a lot about how we're saying these things, even if we are talking about the IC-187 chip and the micro nano processor prototype. Like all that's, like, it actually like matters to him how we feel when we say it, which is great.
But Billy has a very nice way of working with actors, I think, which is not always the case, you know. And I think he did a fantastic job. I mean, because he's very supportive, and you know, he's right there. You know, he's not. You know, I really felt like I was able to do the best work I could when he would turn his cell phone off. No, I'm kidding. I really think he's got a good way to work with actors. I mean, he's doing all this technical stuff, which is amazing to begin with. I mean, I can barely check my email, and he's creating this world that's like, he does it on his computer. You know, I'm going, jeez. I mean, I feel like the monkey with the typewriter. I'm not getting Julius Caesar. But anyway, the human side, the acting side, and knowing how to kind of let the actors find their way and yet be there, you know, you gotta walk that line, and he does it really well.
I feel that it starts to.
He's nobody. I created the show. Just look at the movie. This guy, I don't know who he is. He's like an imposter, you know.
I got a call last night from one of my contacts inside SV Ops. They know about your research. They've known about it for some time.
I run an organization called IQ-145. Just say we're in the middle of a sensitive project, and we need you to join us.
If this chip is mass-produced and sent airborne, it would implant itself into every living being not protected. That potential is far too dangerous.
They know you have it. They will stop at nothing to get it. We're not talking about a candy-ass branch of the government that buys $200 hammers. We're talking about freaking giants. Giants that kill other giants. There's no negotiation. There is no excuses. This is about world dominance. Cancel his contract to cancel us. You're saying be afraid. Be very afraid.